Alright, so...
Well, what we're doing is we're basically demonstrating how to bead on this dress. We're going to make it look really nice. It was kind of plain before, and you can kind of see in the light. We have a craft lamp. You can see the beads. These are number 3 jet black bugles.
These things.
Yeah. And how I do this is, you got to do it one bead at a time. Can you see my hand? You basically put one bead on, pull it all the way down. And this is tricky, but after you get used to it, it's easy. Right? Then you push the bead with your nail as tight as you can, but keeping the fabric from buckling. That's important. And then you have to put the needle in as close as you can to that bead through the trim. Sometimes it's so thick I have to go up and out again until I find, see, like look, it's hard to go through here. So if that happens, I pull it out because it's getting looped on the trim, and I go back and find another hole to go through. There we go. Okay. And so I'm doing literally a whole row, and I've already done a couple of them. Look at that. Okay, so I did.
You're definitely you're definitely not gonna have enough beads.
No, I ordered more, and I also had to order more carpet thread. And I want to talk about that for a second because as a belly dancer, my costumes had to be made very durable, and they had to withstand a lot of movement. And so my teacher always insisted that we use, oh, this is really thick right here, that's why it's having trouble going through the trim. My teacher always insisted that we used carpet thread. This is carpet thread, and it's really thick compared to regular thread. It's very hard to break. If this was regular thread, you can go like this and easily break it. This is very hard to break. So when I work with bugle beads, I always use carpet thread. And the carpet thread actually will keep this from falling apart anytime soon. The one problem with it is the needle. Now, I don't know if you can see this needle. Okay.
Yeah.
Alright, so this needle is the smallest needle I could find in a regular pack of needles. And what I do is I take bugle beads and I test and see which ones will go through this needle. Some of them are they're not formed right, so they don't go through the needle, but if most of the beads do go through the needle, only then do I put the carpet thread on. And it takes about 4 or 5 tries. You have to cut the thread at a really sharp angle and get it through that tiny hole, which I can do. I've been doing it for a long time, so I'm experienced. And it helps, by the way, if you have this type of special scissor. And this scissor is ultra sharp. Can you see the points on that?
Yeah.
This is ultra sharp, and it even locks closed. And there's some place here on the table we have a cover for it. So that helps to cut the thread at a really sharp angle. Oh, here it is. This. That's how sharp these are. You basically have to travel like this. Okay, because this is like a knife. It'll go through like anything. But it's really...
Especially fingers.
Yes, especially fingers. And we've had a few accidents with that. But I don't recommend using it to trim your eyebrows or anything. So using these, I'm able to get a really sharp point on that carpet thread and get it through the needle after a few tries. And the rest of it, I mean, this is taking a long time because of the trim being so thick. If the trim wasn't here, I would be able to bead this like twice the speed. And if you look in the cup with the bugle beads, I have a spare needle in there. See it? Let's dig that out.
Don't want to stab yourself.
I got it. Okay, so this is a spare one. I have 2 going at any time. And you'll see when you go through it, Okay, this bead doesn't go through. What I do then is I put that in there, because then I know it's not going to go through my needle. Same thing with this one. Doesn't go through, it goes in here. That's how I can find the ones that I know are going to work. That one went through, so it stays in there. And as I'm beading for real, this is just a test. See, this one went through, so it's okay. So this is a fairly good needle. Most of the beads do go through it. Therefore, I keep it in here so I always know I have at least one backup needle. This needle I'm using is actually better. It fits better. So here I have another one. We're going to do one more. And you see I'm keeping it real tight, pulling this tight, and we go through the hole, and there we go. Okay, and that's how it goes, and it takes a while, but it's worth it. And when this is all said and done, it's going to make the dress a lot heavier, so it'll fall differently, but it's going to glitter a little bit in the right light and give it a little more texture, make it more glamorous. Can you see in that light?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty. And the next thing I plan to do is probably add some stones to the body of the dress, but we're not up to that yet. I already did this trim, see?
Yeah.
So that looks pretty good. This was done in time for the Fairy Festival, but I didn't have time to do the rest of the dress. So I'm hoping to have all that done in time for Fantasy Weekend at the New York Renaissance Fair. And I'll do my midnight fairy there. And that's where I'm at, so I'm going to be busy, busy, busy for the next few days.
Definitely.
Okay, so thank you, camera person, BFF.